Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm a Monk, and today we're going to be reviewing a game called Anno 1800. Now, this game has been developed by Blue Byte and published by Ubisoft, and this is actually the 7th installment of this franchise. Now, this game is set in the 19th century, in the Industrial Revolution, and it is a simulation, city building, real-time strategy game. Within your time in this game, you need to establish yourself a city, a thriving, bustling city, one that is going to be able to compete with the other nations in the world. Why would someone want to pick your city over the island just behind you? Well, because you run the greatest city in the world, of course. But in order to do that, you need to make sure that your city planning is up to spec, making sure that you have enough settlers, making sure you have enough farmers and workers, that you have the bare materials you need to be able to do things like having lumberjacks and sawmills and farms, hog farms, wool farms, and even make sure that you have fire stations and pubs to keep your troops safe and, of course, happy. Now, as you progress, you'll go through different ages in your game, unlocking different buildings, which I actually quite like. The graphics in this game took me by surprise. It's a lot prettier, a lot more detailed than I gave it credit for. Personally, I've never played an Anno game before, so I wasn't exactly sure what I would be walking into. But I was pleasantly surprised that this kind of take on another city builder is incredibly in depth. The settings alone had enough there to make sure that I could customize the experience to my level. So if you are starting out in this game just like me, this game has you covered. It will hold your hand and help you be able to have an easier start. That being said, though, this game is incredibly complicated. If you are not familiar with these types of games, if you have never played Anno before, you may struggle at the beginning. This game does have a tutorial, although at least it has a campaign where it would like to hold your hand, tell you what to do, go through the basics. The same with if you jump into sandbox, you do have an option to go through campaign mode or sandbox. And even in sandbox, if your roads, for instance, are not connected to buildings, or if your buildings are connected to roads, if you don't have enough workers, the game will flag up and tell you this information. But sometimes it fails to tell you the most basic information that may leave you in limbo a little bit. So after a bit of frustration, hopefully you stick at this game, because once you do, it is incredibly enjoyable. And talk about things that are enjoyable within this game. This is fully voice acted. So although there's not going to be cutscene upon cutscene, there are a few really nicely made cutscenes. But more importantly, all the information that kind of gets sprung at you is fully voice acted. And it's brilliant voice acting to boot.
Since that day you saved my life, I have presumed I knew you. But now, 1,000 letters from your father go unopened, yet one scribbled from your sister changes everything? I didn't even know you had a sister.
Personally, I'm really glad that they went down this path, because they could have simply just put up a load of text for you. Now, as I mentioned before, there is a campaign mode within this game, and a campaign transitions into a normal sandbox as well. But on top of the sandbox mode, where you have to strive to build a strong, established, self-sustaining city, you've also got mini quests within this game as well. You have got people and other factions that you can interact with. You can negotiate with them. You can make a truce, do gifts, do quests, or even go to war with them. This extra feature within this game just helps this game grow with depth. And one of the smaller features in this game that I just happen to love so much is that every now and again you get to publish a paper. This paper will tell your citizens exactly what is going on in the world, but you as the leader get to handle the propaganda that you push. So say the story's running and you're not quite happy with it. It's a sad story. Maybe you're developing a bit too much and the citizens are getting a bit worried that too much is changing. Well, you can change it, flip it, and put it on a spin, and make sure you give the citizens the confidence they need. Now, it is only one small feature out of many, but I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, as much as I want to say that this is a full review, this is a massive game and it's only come out a couple of days ago. I put a bit of time into it, but really this is more of a first impressions. On first glance, this is an incredibly deep and detailed game, and one it's going to take quite a lot of time to understand the full mechanics of this game as well. But I can tell you that I thoroughly enjoyed my experience. It's a lot of fun. There is a lot to learn, but boy, do I think this is going to be a fun game. And it's really nice to see that it's finally hitting next-gen consoles. Of course, this has been out on PC now for a couple of years, but it's recently hit the Xbox Series S and X and also the PlayStation 5. And in my experience and the time that I spent in the game, it works absolutely fine. There was no dashboard, there's no glitches, nothing that I need to be worried about. This game works as intended and is only £35. For a game with such depth and so much game time for you to play, I was really surprised at how cheap this actually was. I would quite happily pay 50 quid, but hey, we get it cheaper, we get it cheaper at £35. I truly think that this game's actually a steal. My only true gripes about this game is the fact that I felt that the tutorial could be better, and of course this game is a little clunky. This is quite a major in-depth PC game going onto console, cycling through all the different windows and trying to figure out all the different building placements and stuff like that. It can be a little bit clunky, it can feel a little bit like you're pulling your hair out sometimes trying to figure out some things, but once you get the knack of it, this game is a lot of fun and very, very smooth. But like I said, there is that learning curve that you kind of expect with real-time strategy games. I'm going to give this game an 8.5 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience in this game, and I do recommend you pick it up and try it for yourselves as well. And if you've stuck around to the very end of this review, a big thank you to you. Don't forget to comment red banana down below. Just confuse all those people new to the channel or that didn't watch to the very end. And don't forget, here on the Critically Clueless, we have actually released a novel. It is available on paperback and ebook, and it is a dystopian sci-fi about a guy that's lost his family. He's thrown in the worst prison in the world, and he has to escape. And boy, does he go on an adventure. And you can find a link for Seven Broken and Bound down in the description. But until next time, I've been a monk who's been Critically Clueless, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.
You reached a new milestone.